Alright, in this video we're going to look at using this little bookmark up in the upper right screen. And we can use that to save certain pages or reports for faster, easier access, especially for reports that you might have difficulty building. So today we're going to build a dimension balance report to show encumbrances by vendor. We'll start by going to our application menu, going to General Ledger, and then underneath the report section, dimension balances. And so we're going to build this report. We're going to choose our reporting period. And so for this one, I'm going to use fiscal current year. Not to date, fiscal year, so that way we'll get all information for the entirety of the fiscal year rather than up to a certain point. And we're actually going to get rid of the as of date. By getting rid of that, when we save this report, each time it'll update to the current day rather than saving at that specific day to the day we're creating the report. So we've got fiscal year, fiscal current year, as of date is blank. Since we're using encumbrances, we're going to go for this other books area, choose encumbrances, and we're going to uncheck combining the reporting book with other books, meaning we don't want to include our expenses. We're going to keep the selection on actual because in this report we're not looking to include our budget or compare our actual to our budget. We're just going to do encumbrances. Next, we have to tell Intacct what accounts do we want to use. We could use a single account, a range of accounts, multiple types of accounts. That would be up to you. In this one, we're going to do all of our expense accounts. So rather than using the range or multiple accounts, I'm choosing all. And in the account group, we're going to look for all expense GL accounts. From here, we're going to tell, at least in this report, what program do we want to use and which checkbook. If you have access to multiple programs, you could select all programs. For this one, we're going to run for finance. For checkbooks, I'm using checkbook 2. And if we leave funding source blank, that would give us any funding source that meets this combination would come back in the return of this report. If you have multiple checkbooks, you could do the same thing. You could choose all checkbooks just like the top all programs. But in finance, we just have the one funding source. And there's our fund. Next, if you were building it to include just when a customer is used or a vendor, employee, class, that type of stuff, you could add that information here. That's not what we're looking for in this specific report, so those I'll leave blank. So that can mean any combination of whether it's used or not. And which dimensions do we want to see? We can already see mine selected with funding source, account ID, and vendor ID. You can choose any of this information. In your report, you're probably going to choose vendor ID and name. I've just got vendor ID for this one. How you order this determines how the report will be ordered. So funding source ID would be the first thing that's going to be sorted on the report, then by the account, so it'll be an order by account number sequentially, and then vendor ID. And I've got this to look cascaded, and that's it. That's all we're going to have and show for this report. Up at the top, we'll have a memorize button. So if we pick that, we can give this report a name. So I'll call this Dimension Balance Report, Fiscal Year Encumbrance by Vendor. Building your own report, do not check public. It's for your own use. If you check public, it'll share it with everybody. And we have almost 200 users, so if we all built a report, the area where the report stores will get pretty big for us, and most of these might not meet what we're trying to do. So we're not going to check public. And we'll click OK to have that saved. And it takes us to a list of our reports. I'm going to use the search feature just to bring up the report we're running. Let's hit edit to look at what we've got. And so we can see it saved exactly what we wanted. Here's that report name. I'm the person who created it, so I'm the report owner. Here's the period of time we're using. As of date stayed blank. There's the encumbrances. Reporting book is unchecked. Actual, all accounts with all expense GL accounts. There's the program checkbook funding source I saved, and the dimension values I want to include. So now that we're at this point, we've saved our report. We have the report built the way we want to see it. Now we can go up to that bookmark tab, and I'm going to bookmark this page. You can give it any report name that you'd want to give. I'm just going to use the same name that I used when making the report. And so we can see it's been added to the second one. I used one already for a different instance. And so when we're back out in Intacct, any page that we're at, if you don't want to have to build the report again, and we're taking advantage of that, we come to our bookmarks, we select that report name we gave it, and it's come to the way we've saved the report. And now we're okay to run the report and see our open encumbrances by vendor for the fiscal year.